That's how that works. That's how delay works. It's good for you. Keeps you limber. I don't know what that means. We're doing stuff about we're alchematizing. We're alchematizing? We're going to learn more about alchemy tonight, if all goes well. Greetings. My name is Brian. Welcome to KillCo Mental Musings. We're having tech issues, of course. We have a special guest. Can the special guest get in here? We don't know yet. Did I give him the right password? I'm not sure. Get ready for the jank. I think you can still see it. Yes, it's right there. Welcome. I see people are in chat. That's a good thing. That's nice to see. Not that people usually aren't. It's just like, oh, good, someone's here. I have my non-alcoholic beverage. It's dry week still. This happened last time Sonny was on, for whatever reason. Didn't plan this. Just suddenly, hey, you want to come visit the stream? Sure. Is it dry week? Yeah. Whoops. Hold on. I gotta do all the things. Must do all the things. There we go. Bourbon, yeah. Hello. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, it's greatly appreciated. Sugar Kitty. Hello. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, greatly appreciated. So many people. John McKellen. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. It is greatly appreciated. Zenbud. I'm going to run. I'm going to have to do this 50 times now. So many people. Zenbud. Hello. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, it is greatly appreciated. Checking things over here. Kathy Huey, look out. The legend. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. It is greatly appreciated. And Emily Chambers. Magic. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, it is greatly appreciated. Like and subscribe. You did that already. I know all of you did that already. If you didn't, well, I've reminded you because that's what I'm supposed to do. So as we wait for tech issues, we do have a goal. I don't expect it to be hit. It'd be nice. But if we hit it, I can show up some of my tech that I got recently for said trip later this week. Bourbon Baller Lee. Welcome. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, it's greatly appreciated. Peter White. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, is greatly appreciated. This was not a great idea on my part. I feel like I have to say that to everyone. Christy said, hello. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, it is greatly appreciated. So much so that I say it to everyone as best I can. Daughter Pass Whiskey. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, it is greatly appreciated. It is Star Wars Day. It's May the 4th. And we worked that into May the 4th because May the Force be with you. It's a thing. It's one of those things I was well aware of for the stream. I'm like, oh, no, it's May the 4th. That means I have to say something about Star Trek, doesn't it? Everyone loves The Mandalorian, right? I know. Everyone's here. I love it. I always like to see when I have a guest, people show up because, well, when the guest gets here. And again, I think part of it might be just me forgetting the password. And also not knowing how to get it back. So if that's the issue, I can just restart. It's fine. It's just going to be complicated. Thank you, Chambers. I hope you can hear the music too. This is one of those situations where now we have music and it should be playing through here correctly. Uh-oh. Yeah. It might be the password. Because I did this thing where I thought, I'll remember it. Let's just reboot. Safest thing to do. Leave, damn you. All right, great room. There, now I'm going to copy this specifically. So this doesn't happen again. This is what happens when I try to get the stream set up early. So it's enough time for me to forget, which isn't long. Let's be honest. Ooh. I can load previous one, but I don't want to. I just want to restart. Just let me do the thing, damn you. All right. That's the new password. This will be the new link. I hope. The other problem is I just forget how to do this. How do I do guests again? Oh, shit. Let me see. There's me. Oh, good, that stayed. Mayfair and came out with a yard and a half. Kettle corn. Oh, God. Not the kettle corn. And now I have to do tweaking, but it's going to be on the other thing. It should work. We'll see. Oh, good, it worked. Now I just have to remember how to get you to talk. There.
Oh, I talk.
There you go. It's the mute. It's like, for whatever reason, it starts with you muted. I'm like, oh, okay, I can't hear him. We're good. All right, now how do I get...
That's also interesting because like Zoom calls and stuff will mute you when you join. You're automatically like muted and your camera's off. But for you, when I join, no one can hear me.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
We can hear you fine now.
I love that picture.
Yeah, right? Did that work? We did. They are.
Okay, let me get my own version.
Oh gosh, there's a lot of people in here. I shouldn't have looked at that. Cool, cool, cool. Everything's working as intended, I think.
All right, I see John McElwain, who I definitely know. Bourbon Neophyte, I remember. Wow, KillCo, you're pulling a crowd.
Right, it's weird. On? No, they're here to see you, not me.
Oh, that's even less likely, my friend. I'll tell you what. As my really ugly grocery bag, like grocer's apron might tell you, it's cooking day, so I'm prepping a huge amount of food. Meatballs come next. I have 6 pounds of beef barbacoa for tacos in the oven right now. Yeah, life is really good. I like Sundays.
I bet. I like Sundays because I get to do this, but I also like hearing about other people's food.
Yeah, dude, I've been teasing. Well, now, so this is my last like month in this apartment. My girlfriend is very soon coming down here, like end of this month. I'm moving most of my life down here. Like I came down here with 8 paintings, a camera, and a dream. So
I was gonna say it was kind of like a rush deal.
Yeah. So all of that stuff got thrown together so quickly, which is terrible because it's just as expensive regardless of how much stuff you're bringing. Like you can bring a huge amount of stuff or bring a tiny amount of stuff, and it's still so expensive to move across the country.
Yes.
So
remind me again where you started.
We're doing the other half.
I know it's not. Yeah. Where did you start? I forget.
Nebraska. So
it's a bit of a hike.
So it's like 13-ish, because Austin is particularly south, so it's like between 13 and 15 hours north of where I currently am. I think depending on how you drive and when you go through Dallas. Really, it's kind of Dallas traffic.
I've heard stories.
Huge. We got pretty lucky coming down, but no, yeah. All that was a mess, so I'm bringing the girlfriend down here finally. She's working full-time remote, and all of that's been, like, approved and dealt with.
So like, I quit my job for my partner.
We were not that far off from that at a certain point in time. There's a point in time where, like, a manager's manager went really hard on the, like, hey, she's going to be really hard to replace. I know she hasn't been working here that long. This job works well remote. Like, can we just do this thing or not? Because if not, I need to know so I can figure out how to replace this person. So yeah, it got messy, man.
I'm glad it's going to work out long term. I say 13 hours and say gross. I'm like, I'm going to be traveling. How many hours?
Okay, yeah. So that's the thing that's also very funny. So this is up to you. We can bill alchemy questions first and start going through that because all of what I just explained is in the background of all of the other pieces going on in the background or in like in the front of the stovetop versus the back burners or backboners. We can structure this however you like because I have a lot of questions for you because you sent me very vague teasers and then I just saw you sleeping in a car for a day. So
yes.
I'm very curious about all of that, but you build this as alchemy questions and there's a ton of stuff going on at work I'd love to talk over a live stream on and just leak. So
yes, leaks. No one will know.
So I'm going to grab my water. You catch up on chat for a minute. And
cool.
Then, yeah, floor's yours. However you want to go with this. I'm very easy.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I figured, I was like, I won't talk about the trip stuff this time. But now I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about the trip stuff later. But first, we want to talk about alchemy. I know I want to know more about alchemy. I assume some of you, who are also part of the whiskey tribe, are interested in going there. And if you hadn't gone to Crowded Barrel, Fang and Feather, which I think is closed for now, and you're in Austin, you're in the area, go there. You'll see. I still feel very strange being the guy from Rhode Island who has a fondness for a specific spot in Austin, Texas. Like, I like being there, and I want to be there again. Not in this time of year. No. Just in the cooler months, and even then, it's at least 70 degrees, and I am just someone who melts under enough heat. Yeah, Zenboot is keen on finding all the interesting little random athletic things out there. I think, if I'm thinking about this correctly, and I might not be, but I believe the free wedding chapel, Chapel Dulcinea, is part of Wizard Academy. So it's separate from Crowded Barrel stuff, if I remember correctly. So that's like, well, he'll tell us.
All right. Where are we going?
We had a question.
We have questions? Yeah, hit me.
And I think I knew the answer, but is alchemy created for wedding crowds or to showcase Abe-made spirits?
Oh, why not both?
Right?
Alchemy is created for scale. John McKellen, we've had a lot of we've had a lot of interaction, yet I don't know anything about you, and that's uncomfortable to me. But I don't know, for anyone that's actually been down there, Fang and Feather is very limiting in the amount of space that you get, and because of the wedding presence on the campus, it created a weird scenario where you could immediately pick out why people are there. Like, there's a certain night I can think of in particular where I could see, like, group of MBs sitting in the corner, wedding party standing at the bar, cigar people out back doing their own thing, and then, like, Kyle Pena and a closer group of, like, friends of employees all there. And I'm like, this is weird because of how close quarters this is. These groups aren't combining. There's an oil and water thing going on, and there's also the fact that Fang and Feather was not really built for volume, so when we do have weddings and lots of people, or if we want to go more into events, it all becomes extremely complicated very quickly. Fang is an incredible space for a small amount of people. It seriously does not scale.
It doesn't.
So yeah, I mean, showcase.
I've seen the wedding come in and everyone else goes away because they close it down after they actually close.
And it gets weird.
Yeah.
An opportunity to showcase creations is almost more of a conversation about the people who are there. And this is something we talk about a lot in terms of, like, the messaging of what's going on and how to explain it. Because plenty of people, I keep telling this very short anecdote, but it made me laugh so hard and it was so representative of the people coming on campus. Brianna and I were mapping out some, like, just the floor plan a little bit a month ago. Just post-approval, just figuring out, it's like, okay, how many tables do we need? Where do we want groups of people to be? Like, how do we want the flow of this whole thing to work, type of thing. And somebody, after looking through, peeking through every single window around the building, notices us finally in there, and is just knocking on the side door repeatedly. We're like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, hey, are y'all open? I just need some tequila shots at 10:30 in the morning.
Wow.
At 10:30 in the morning, this wonderful man with probably a great night ahead of him just needed a few tequila shots. And I'm like, this is what Alchemy is. Alchemy is the space to be a presence on the campus, a place for people to get water, sit down in air conditioning, have coffee, espresso, get a cocktail or alcohol or any of that. But it is very experiential for the thing. And the beauty of Fang is that it's hidden. It was behind everything else.
Yep.
It was kind of in the trees, hard to get to. There's a beauty in that, in the idea of a more exclusive experience or a clubhouse. But when you're trying to like just provide an experience for the people who are already here for one reason or another, it makes it much harder when you have to give very specific instructions of how to find the thing. So yeah, I mean, if we're talking Alchemy, man, there's so many conversations about philosophy and thought of how this needs to work out, and I'm very happy to be open about any of them because it makes sense, and all the things we're trying to do, I think, line up with the property particularly well. But in terms of showcasing Abe-made spirits, honestly, man, at this point, the people who love us and love the stuff that we're doing show up, participate, want to hang out, and do their own thing anyways. So it's almost about tricking the average person into realizing that this is what they want and making them realize deep into the interaction that, like, this is a craft distillery, the world's first crowdsourced distillery. Like, having that experience where it can stand on its own and do its own thing, but also everything is so good, and our beers are so good, and our espresso is going to be so good. Like,
I'm looking forward to the espresso.
That is, I don't know. This is like the local business debacle we got into like a month and a half ago at a Q&A. It's like, your business needs to be able to stand on its own as a business before you dive into everything else. And a lot of YouTube channels in particular get in trouble with this, where they're relying on the love and support of people without putting the work and effort into making the thing compete in the market on its own.
Where's the castle? That's what I keep thinking in the back of my head. Where's the castle?
There have been many conversations about the castle.
I bet there has.
There have been many. The castle is real. Okay.
So I hear.
Let's catch up again on this. Went to Crowded Barrel a few years ago and met Daniel and Brianna. Great space, and that's the thing is, I just had some friends down here. It was the first time they'd seen me. My college best friend, whoever, roommate most of my life.
Your bottle buddy.
My bottle buddy. That's a great way to put it. My bottle buddy came through, and he was one of the things. Him and his partner, who's an economics major, very like we all deconstruct things as systems. Walking around, they put words into the magic that I never had. In that, the campus of Crowded Barrel, the campus of the Wizards Academy, this entire place we have, is designed a little bit like Disney. Where every angle is really controlled, and it's kind of windy and meandering in this very purposeful way, where you keep running through art and design philosophy in a way that you never expected. And all of the stuff is hidden by the trees in a very particular way, so you can't see the back of the building. You see the front of the building, which is perfect and wonderful. You don't see where deliveries go. The back roads are cordoned off. Like, there's a thought that went into every piece of the property that makes it just feel a little bit magical when you come in there. It's wonderful, man. It's a beautiful place to be.
I was just saying when you went away, I was like, it feels very strange to me to be this Rhode Islander who has a very specific spot in Texas that I want to be. I want to go back there and be there and spend time there.
Yeah, well, and Austin also. And it's funny moving down here now because locals have this attitude and this perception of the last few years and everything. People are very much like, well, let's keep Austin because of these invaders that have moved in and everything.
Californians.
But at the same time, coming from the Midwest, nobody cares about any of it. People are like, yeah, why are you here and what are you contributing? It's it's its own style of thing in this city, and the way that it supports food and the arts is so unique. It's really cool to be here. Go ahead.
4-leaf whiskey. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. It is greatly appreciated, as always.
4-leaf whiskey, I remember you.
She was just live before us.
Curated Curiosity describes it Disney-esque, want to visit someday. Now, to be clear, much smaller than Disney. It's a very short walk.
Very
the line's way shorter.
Yeah.
It's a real...
There's no queue. There's not anyone in a stuffed animal suit yet. We'll see.
No,
they would die in the heat. They would just die.
No, not during operating hours.
No, that's a different thing.
Yeah, the persona suits and everything comes out after dark, obviously.
They stash them in. They're stashed in the Wizard's Tower. They have to rent them.
It was the nicest moment. Like I mentioned, I had my friend and his partner there, and we were walking around. And at a certain point, as I'm describing things, he just kept asking me. He's like, "Is this a cult? Like, what's going on?" The way you have all this
absolutely
set up,
not a cult.
So we landed on the mural that says Wizard's Tower. It's not a cult.
Yep. It's right there. Don't worry about it.
It's in pen and paper. Like I can't help you with that.
You gotta tell him this one when you see him next time.
Yeah, I'm not. I will, as with all things, I will make a way to make him check his ego and feel inferior. Find a way to mention that in a way that does not.
You got a little bit of ammunition there. If you want to use it anytime,
yeah,
that's fine.
Oh, I create the ammunition. My favorite game to play is, Rex and I talk about a lot, and then I say something so ridiculous, disgraceful, and disgusting in front of Rex where he's like, "What are you doing?" Like, I enjoy the creation of a fake reality where he's saying the most ridiculous and terrible things. That's just fun to me because some part of people will believe it. And that's just a fun game to play with staff. I call it compulsive lying for entertainment.
Just don't compulsive lie me. I don't.
No, the community. The community gets the best and worst of everything.
I'm sensitive. I can't take it.
No, I'm not false sarcastic with you. I don't play the game with people who don't interact with me all the time. I was telling Pena the other day, we were getting in this weird contest of who knew somebody longer, and I was like, I've been playing D&D with them for 8 years. They've been my dungeon master long before you ever knew them. You have no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, and he walks away from this. He walks away from this interaction, and then I hear from Brienne. She's like, "Yeah, and you've known him for like 8 years. You never talked about that?" And I was like, "Oh, that was nonsense. I've never played D&D in my entire life. Yeah, I don't think he has either." Like we were
disbelief, confusion.
He tried to one up me for a moment, so I just really took it away from him. Oops. So yeah, we'll see how much trouble that causes down the line. But
it'll be fine. Pena's pretty chill.
The chillest.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I've only met him a few times, talked with him a few times, but it was very obvious he's very chill.
He's the reason I'm making this barbacoa right now is because I keep threatening him with my home-cooked food.
Do it.
But I also need his help to move that couch out of a third-floor apartment. So I need to charm him with some barbacoa is going to be my strategy with
You can't even like lure him in with any kind of alcohol because he's dealing with all of it. He can get any of it anytime he wants. You do have slick bottles.
Interesting. That's interesting because I have this conversation with Pena. The alcohol isn't the pull. The whiskey itself would not be the pull. It would be the experience of knowing he has a curated experience in its own way, where it's like, dude, come through. Let's do a tasting of these 3 or 4 things. I think he'd be very into that based off of knowing the storytelling side of things and the information that I would go into it with. And I'd also have like a really high level charcuterie board attached to everything, of course. Like I'm gonna find some local salami and do something nutty. It's gonna be its own thing. But Pena and I interact a lot with the conversation of why we appreciate what the other person does. And I just try to make the dude laugh. Like, I just try to create these joking scenarios and use absurdism to make the guy laugh because it works very well. But from my end, my love for him comes from the amount of work he puts into everything he does. He doesn't question anything at any point in time or feel like he knows exactly what he's talking about. But he also loves the fact when his opinion's being considered, and he is a shareholder as much as anybody else is what's going on. I'm like, no, you're one of my favorite people to work with because our interactions are just very fun. And that's hard to find in traditional jobs and coworkers.
And his dog. I forget the dog.
Gucci.
Gucci. There we go.
Okay.
I was going in my mind. I'm like, I know the dog's name. Why can't I find it? It was one of those words that could be said incorrectly, and I don't want to say that one by accident.
No. The Gooch. Gucci is one of my favorite people on the planet, even as a dog. I love that dog so much. But no, no, that dog's mouth noises alone. No.
You know you're never alone.
We have an incredible group of people who are all putting in everything they can for whatever the aspect of the job that they're doing, which is so unique and interesting. And also not as predatory as like a company like a Silicon Valley thing. I've been watching this BlackBerry documentary and seeing these people working like 80 hours a week for low compensation while suffering in this specific way because they're passionate about the thing they're making is like oh no, I would never do that. Like I have to be passionate about this. I have to love the people. I have to love the thing. But also quality of life in something that you're putting this much into matters so much.
Make sure you can take a vacation.
Vacation, time off, not limiting the time on lunches. Like we joke about long lunches. We joke more than the lunches are long at this point, but I've heard tale of 4-hour lunches, and I'd love to live to last to experience such a thing. Like that is,
why not?
On a day when not much is going on, a 4-hour, that's like driving down to San Antonio, having a quick steak and heading back. That's the dream. It really is. But yeah, I mean, getting back to the point of this whole conversation, Alchemy's been incredible, man. It is an opportunity to grow in this space. We have like an internal discussion about how long aspects of this took. And it wasn't until things really started to come together and we really started to look at how things looked all together and filled the room out and the way that people flow through it.
It looks so pretty now.
All worth it.
I've only seen little clips. It looks beautiful.
It's so pretty now, man. John McElwain, 80 hours a week can be real. Been there, done that. John McElwain, there is a really, like, one of the more legitimate medical studies on the amount of hours worked per week, the amount of stress inherited by the hours, and the rate at which you experience early seizures, strokes, and heart failure. It's really unfortunate, but, like, every hour over 50 is costing you in your life in a very specific way. And depending on how you count those hours, it's its own thing for sure. But you have to understand, and I have this conversation with all my really well-off, white-collar people in my life who work a ton in a sales position and suffered while I was bartending, and I'm like, hey, but like, are you happy? They're like, oh, no. You earn happiness in your 50s. Oh. No. Like,
well, thanks.
You enjoy what you're doing? Yeah. All right. Any specific alchemy questions, or do we want to dive into any of this? Because people can ask whatever. I'm super transparent on the stuff going on. It's all very in development. Like, I wish we could have figured everything out exactly the way everything needs to be to have the perfect launch. But also that space is such an upgrade in so many ways. We just have to experiment. So we went kind of like quiet with our launch on stuff. But
what were some of the hangups? Like, I know it was a lot of it, like, we're waiting on something. There's this kind of thing we need to get done.
So just to put, I'm very cautious on talking about things before I was here, because I'm only ever hearing, and it's not that I don't have conversations about these things, but I'm only ever hearing somebody's interpretation and talking about things going on versus like being there and being in the room and conversations. So I hesitate to talk about the last like 3-ish years of the way things have gone. But since I've been here, technically speaking, in a huge amount of ways, Alchemy could have been licensed as soon as mid to late November, early December, hypothetically. Thing that holds that back is that the people who are in charge of and responsible for approving such designs and walking through things don't do a huge amount of work during the holidays, and then the backpile and queue becomes quite significant because you go through between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then New Year's. You end up with a situation where like 3 to 4 months of productivity gets really slowed and shut down, which,
We're going to take these 4 months off and I'll come back to it. It'll be here.
and don't get me wrong, there's a huge amount of like backpiling in this time of year, and then it all adds up. Like, I understand
Everyone's
the
done their
way that
taxes
these things
now.
go. But there are conversations of timelines, and this is why I'm the person saying, let's not talk about that, or let's not announce that. Let's not like bring these things up until we're really far along. Like, we need to be 80% on certain types of things before we announce or talk about certain things, because that's reasonable. Because once you're 80% of the way there, it's probably going to happen. At 50%, the floor can drop out on any project because one person gets weird or sheepish at any time. But no. There have been a lot of weird little hangups, and at the end of the day, we've been very grateful, especially in the last like 6 months. The people we're working with the county and everyone making this happen have come through quite nice. But prior to this, lots of weird big upgrades and problems that needed a vague timeline to actually happen. And I mean, to be honest, at some point, if Alchemy was the entirety of our business, maybe there's an amount of money that makes some of these problems go away. But when you have Fang operating relatively well, and the YouTube channel and the distillery all operating, it's just not the most forefront of thought. And not to mention, I mean, the realest answer to any of this would be that you can do anything to any degree and announce it at any time. Nothing is ever finished. It just gets released. You can launch a building. You can get this thing permitted very quickly with much less ambitious and scalable plans. But to do everything really well and really right requires a lot of thought, time, and attention with a very small team and staff. So
I don't know what I'm thinking about this, but it's like if there's a ribbon cutting for a plot of land, and they just cut it and they're like, here we go.
I know this is okay. This is very real to me, based specifically on breaking ground ceremonies.
There we go.
Like when they're digging that. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see the question. I have so many answers.
Yeah.
Breaking ground ceremonies, when they dig that first piece of dirt, and there's some VP or executive of marketing.
I got my hands dirty.
Yeah, and they have a welder do the first, like they hit the shovel in so they can just have some soft dirt to deal with. I'm very allergic to things like that. They're so performative and unnecessary.
Everyone take pictures.
Before this about marketing.
Take the pictures.
Take the picture.
I don't think you can lift that again.
Tie, but I have a shovel and a hard hat on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm outside. This is awful.
John talking about reasonable pricing at Alchemy, any food options. So the pricing discussion on a lot of stuff has been really interesting because, in my opinion, for the space that we fill, I do think that a lot of our pricing is considerably reasonable and quite, if anything, if we wanted to be the bougiest like craft distillery and stuff, we could add a few dollars to a lot of things to just kind of skeeve people off by being craft. I think that we really do try to make everything as reasonable as possible. Like all of our beers made in-house less than $10. We're arguing about the prices of espresso, but we're also using an incredible machine that only produces double shots.
Nice.
Like we're trying to do things in terms of the actual execution of it, looking at the highest available quality option possible without being super gimmicky and stupid. Unless we're announcing that it's gimmicky and stupid in the case of even something like the McGimmick, where the McGimmick is priced and what everything is like, no, like, buddy, it's a gimmick. Like it's this very special thing. It's very unique, but it's a gimmick. Have fun with it. So when we talk about a $25 or a $35 cocktail, which we're totally not seriously talking about, it's just something we always mention because somebody always has a crazy idea. Somebody always has a way to escalate something super high there. And when you talk about those things, you have to inherently admit, it's like, yeah, this is totally unnecessary.
I can see someone coming in and be like, give me your most expensive drink, stat.
Yeah. Yes,
okay, we're gonna make it right now, whatever it is.
Yes, doing some version of that, which is funny too, because even in like we did that fat washing video, we've had some fat washed old fashions kind of float on the menu and stuff. It's like, man, we are not actually charging enough. If it's an extra $1 or $2 for the amount of time and effort and just ingredients that went into this, it's not really worth what we're charging for this, but it's a unique experience and we want to offer it. It's not that expensive to create. It's not.
You want to try this? Okay, here you go.
Yeah. There's a lot of conversations about what type of cocktail could command a specific price. Because I do love those Halo offerings. I love those insane things that nobody necessarily needs, but you kind of want to know what it's like. It has to provide the value. It has to be hard enough to make something super expensive, and we have no plans to do it. But if the perfect thing fell in our lap, like if the perfect thing made sense to do some dumb, stupid thing where you kind of know it's dumb and stupid, why not? Why not is where I'm at. In terms of food options, we have Roberto's food truck.
So good.
Like ludicrously good in many styles of food. It often might look like just a taco truck. There are a lot of options there, and they're all really good. I avoid it based only on working in food service for long enough. There's like this internal policy of like, don't shit where you eat. Like just once you get into that, it's hard to go back. And when you're just buying this incredible food truck food all the time, you start to chub out a little bit. So I've been avoiding that myself. But
I mean, Brianna seems fine.
We do have the options for expansion in terms of if we wanted multiple food trucks on the premise at the same time, it would not be all that difficult. There are immediate hurdles that come up, but it would not be impossible. Like we built that into the plan. But also having short-term hookups and connections for event-based stuff, like Bastard's Ball last year had a few food options. Doing stuff like that is also very possible because again, like there's a big part of Alchemy that is just the event space. There's a big part of Alchemy which is hanging out in this area, and it's built for it.
Yeah, it's designed for it basically.
No, it really is, because I think like last year's Masters Ball, Alchemy was just like, it was merch and then an AC hangout area.
That's why I was in there. I was like, I'm gonna stay in here for a minute.
yes, which makes so much sense. But having full scale offerings there and the ways that we can do events, that makes sense. Again, there's a ton of debate because the property itself has so much potential in what it could be doing. It's just we can't shotgun a ton of ideas and try 32 things at once. We have to really figure out like, okay, who's going to run this? Who's passionate about this enough to like make it better than whatever the other, for example, like a bar music bingo or something. Like, what can we do to make this different? Trivia. How can we make trivia better? These very basic things.
What about
go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, you said music, and I thought of Andalusia first.
Sure. and they're killing it. And I made a bunch of friends there,
Yeah.
or at least I made one really good friend there at Texas Whiskey Fest.
Nice.
Yeah, no, Texas Whiskey Fest was super cool. Very. I wish it wasn't a work week. I wish it was. I wish it wasn't on top of Alchemy opening the next week. I would change aspects of that if I was able to do anything I wanted. But no. The local connection and the amount of people I dealt with and talked to in a short period of time were amazing. And Texas whiskey's a really cool place to be.
Yeah. I agree. Having been to a few of those, I agree.
Dude, it's a cool time too. Like we're getting towards a point where there are many bottles that I could bowl in terms of rye and bourbon where I'm like, hey, I'm really proud that this came from Texas. I'd like to talk to you about why this is as good as it is and talk about the mitigation techniques being used to hold off of the Texas influence on this and the reason that fighting against something is really good. Like there's a lot of things going on right now in Texas whiskey, and talking with the people making the stuff is so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is an old question now, but any more thoughts on the Dunnage SP to age barrels a little longer?
This seems like an old school Daniel thing where he thought about like the idea of doing a Dunnage.
I need context on Dunnage SP to age a barrel.
Oh, Dunnage as in the spelling. She didn't know if she spelled it right.
Oh, spelling. Okay, I get that. Yeah, tell me what Dunnage is to age barrels a little longer.
Dunnage is basically just an underground thing, if I remember correctly. It's like something they did in Scotland.
Oh,
where they take all their barrels
cellar?
and they put them, yeah, kind of like a cellar.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
I mean, that would be fine.
Especially with Texas heat, but you wouldn't be able to do it because of limestone. I think that's the big.
Yeah, and I mean, you can still do it. It's just the cost becomes prohibitive. You can make it. It's one of those things where it's like, is it possible? Yes, of course, everything is.
Get a big enough piece of machinery in there, and
does it make and a team of people willing to spend enough time on it?
Everyone get a pickaxe. Let's go.
So, and also earthen storage area. Yeah. No, thank you for the context, because it's not that doesn't work or make sense, because it totally does. And also, what we're looking at, the background image behind us right now, is Maker's Mark's Dunnage. It is their cellar that they developed because when they started doing Maker's 46 and toasted staves and stave finishing, they realized that it was really, really hard to control oak influence on staves in a barrel without controlling the climate as well and letting something go for longer.
That's the place they send you through there right before the gift shop.
Yes.
Like, walk with us.
Yeah, it's also one of the most beautiful examples of stained glass or whatever that artistic technique.
It's blown glass.
In my entire, it's blown glass.
Blown glass
Insane. Planes.
It's insane.
What?
You look up, you're like, oh, those are all separate pieces. Wow.
Dude, that is, oh my God, that is so fascinating. I'm going to go learn about that more later, because
so good.
It explains the marbling, so to speak, through the glass, though. It's so cool. But no, I mean, in Texas, a lot of what's been super successful so far has been pulling old brandy techniques, including Epetite, or as Rex calls it, potato.
Yeah.
And then in-barrel proofing, because the amount of proof you have really dictates what's going to be pulled out of the barrel. So by in-barrel proofing, you can slow down the tannic influence and increase the amount of vanillins being taken out of a barrel over a period of time. So those things are cool to me, at the very least, because they allow you to tone down and temper Texas influence without full-on delaying it or removing the weather and climate, and also, again, just the reality of digging out something earth cellar based.
If it was earth, it would be easy.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I would love that.
All I remember is Daniel speaking about that early on in the tribe vault era.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what's a dunnage? I'm going to find out. Oh, this looks like an awesome thing, but it's very much
Well, and
Scotland.
it makes a ton of sense immediately, just the fact that you have an opportunity to basically remove climate from the equation entirely, which is super attractive, but I don't know. It's kind of a question of scale and volume, right? Like,
Well, you have you said you have the new Rick House coming up at some point. That's going to be next to your office, I think.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
All right. I know where they're. I know where they were
penciled in.
destroying all that limestone.
Yeah. Yeah, in a very rectangular position,
specific like this.
In a very intentional way.
Yep.
Yeah. There's conversations about that.
So there is some kind of storage being set up, which is nice, but it's
Yes,
not
and
climate controlled.
And John is right, by the way. Some videos showed rock being shipped away. Yeah. That is all now. I think we pretty much never show this area anymore because now there's kind of miscellaneous storage, and it's like a few shipping containers and a pile of stuff. So it's not exactly.
Is the smokehouse still there?
It's where the Rick House will go, right next to the distillery. There's this rectangular area kind of paved out already for it. There's just a lot of storage there now because we still have to fund the thing and get the plans and everything. We've done planning.
I forget.
What'd you ask?
I was looking at Zimbood's comment. I think he might be referring to what the Maker's Mark ceiling. Who did it? I can't remember.
Dave Chihuly Glass. Ooh, I'm going to take note of that now because I really want to know. Not Chappelle. I can't tell you for certain, but I'm looking at other comps of this. Like, I'm looking at his other work, and yes, this is almost certainly his work because it looks incredible. And that flat version of, like, blown glass. Oh, God, I love that man. That art is so impactful to me.
I'm going back there. Like, I will take that whole tour again.
We missed that one when I was in Kentucky. Well, we missed like
it's very out of the way. That's why I tell people, you want to feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, go there. And I love that.
Well, like from Louisville, though, most of the really good ones are. Like, if you're talking about historic distilleries, these places are somewhere with scale, so you can't build them in downtown Louisville. Like, it's just Michter's down there, basically. If you've ever seen Chihuly, you know exactly what it is everywhere. Those are my favorite people. Those are my favorite artists. I've also, if this is the person I have to imagine it is, I've seen a lot of this person's work in art galleries because this hanging style of an amorphous blob of spirally stained glass, blown glass, whatever, is very iconic. But this flat style for ceilings is unbelievable, and I just want to know the process that went into it.
There's got to be a documentary out there somewhere.
I don't care about the documentaries. I want to read the blogs that influence the documentarians to find the guy in the first. I like finding the source of why people got interested in something. Like the big thing everyone watches is just what everybody knows. I want to find the deep stuff. I like the deep guts.
All the secrets.
Yes. All of the secrets. And then you just don't mention it when you're in the room with the person because it'd be weird if they knew how much you researched them.
Yeah. Start pulling up like the influences they had as a child.
That's hot ones, man. That's Sean Evans. That's what you do. You just go deep. PBS and 2 specials on the Glassworks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have plenty of fodder. That was one of the last reality TV competition shows. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I think Netflix had one of glass blowers, like the Great British Bake Off, but for glass blowers. It was like, I could watch glass being blown all day without the competition. This is just perfect. I love this. Okay. Any more alchemy questions people can get to? KillCo, what the hell are you up to, man? What are you doing?
I think it's called a midlife crisis.
Love that.
I-
Love that.
I basically had to get a new car, which not pleased, but it's
Why'd you have to get the new car?
the old one was dying. Transmission would have cost $3,000 something odd to
Okay.
fix. It was a 2007 Chevy Malibu. The back end of it
yeah.
was starting to rust, like the back where the tires are underneath was getting all
Bad
rusty.
years Chevys, man. You want the late '90s, early 2000s Chevys for a transmission that won't do that to you. Yeah.
Well, that
that's
was
rough.
mostly. I think that was because I got it flooded. Like there were a lot of other things that happened. I basically. Hold on. Let me go back to the actual point that where everything started to go wrong. I
Please.
got in a fitting with my brother for a tux for his wedding, and for whatever reason the weather started acting up real weird, and like hail and really heavy rain and thunder and like lightning. And, geez, what the hell's happening? So we do that. We get it set. We leave. This place is less than 3 miles from where I live. I get in my car. It starts to pour. I start driving down a normal main road, and it's flooded. So I just careen into it and go through it, thankfully. And then I get off the road. I'm like, God damn, that was close. I'm going to cut through this parking lot so that doesn't happen again. It's flooded too, so I crammed through some water twice because I couldn't see anything.
That's.
And
Then
it conked out, then it went
ruined a
tint,
leased
tint.
car through the same thing. You can never see how deep the water goes.
I didn't see it until I was in it. That's the scary part. It was that
Exactly.
bad. But that basically took it out of commission for a while. They managed to get the engine going again, which I didn't think they were going to be able to do. So I had a few more months on it,
Yeah.
and then it started acting really funny. Like things just kept falling apart. Things kept happening to where it was like, all right, this is done. And the transmission was the worst because I had to pay them to check.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, that makes sense. That's brutal.
Yep.
I hate all that for you. Okay. So what'd you wind up with now?
I was able to, I did a lot of waiting and scanning and trying to find something. And I asked my mechanics a few questions too. I was like, which cars do you work on the least? That situation.
Yeah.
And it became a Ford Focus 2014 with about 30,000 miles on it.
Is it 30 or 100?
30,000 miles on it. I know.
Ex-fleet car or?
I don't
old
know.
lady car?
I'm pretty sure someone owned it, and I'm pretty sure they might have had a kid because I just found out recently that the back right and the back right seat, when I'm looking to try to get the switch up for the bed situation, I get in. I'm like, all right, this isn't so bad. Let me just. This door is not opening. So I thought the door was broken, but no, there's some kind of weird ass childhood lock thing that my mechanic just was like, they're done.
Yeah.
No charge or anything. It was nice of him.
That's nice.
But yeah, so I had this like low mileage car that clearly wasn't used for much. It's not very big. It's got, back, it can fit 5 people, but it is like the trunk is not anywhere near as big as the car I had before.
Sure.
I had been thinking about actually doing that with the previous car, but thankfully I didn't because it could have broken down in the middle of nowhere. So since I'm not drinking and since I have all this like crippling depression and anxiety and all these things that have taken a lot of my life in a way, like it's just the depression and stuff and all these mental health problems.
I'd call that directly. It's that's not in a way to be. It is.
Oh yeah, it
burden
takes
of mental health.
It
like,
takes.
the time.
Yeah, the time, the ability to enjoy things. There's a lot of times I can think of when my parents would go to Florida and I wouldn't go because I didn't want to go. I did, but I didn't. It's one of those like I'd like to do that, but I have to leave. I'd rather just stay home by myself. So it's kind of like pushing back against that, getting me out, getting me to do stuff, see the world, be very uncomfortable in the process. I think that's going to be part of the entertainment of it. People are aware that I'm not hugely comfortable with going out and being around strangers and being in strange places.
I don't find that important to be in the entertainment. I find it important in the purpose and the goal of it for you to be willing to put yourself in a situation that's super uncomfortable to you and deal with. And as you're saying, like in a lot of ways, you're explaining this as a rebellion of who you feel like you've been stuck as and the things that you've been going through as a human.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's gonna suck, and you gotta go hard. You need to go further than you expect you need to.
Go out by yourself in the world, Brian. Enjoy.
Yeah, man.
Hey.
No, I love that for you.
Yep.
I love that because
Might be able to save a few bucks somehow.
Dude, I do think there is. I think that there's a lot of acceptance in your situation when sometimes to find the way out of the terrible place, you might find yourself just really lashing out and doing the opposite can be very helpful and proactive.
It's been in my head for a long
you,
time too. It's not like it just happened. I was like, "Oh, go for an adventure." It's like, no. It's like I was thinking about this kind of thing back in 2019.
Yeah.
However, I was also
Great timing.
I was also concerned about one. I was manic, so I was not taking medication, and I was like, I'll just change my whole life. I'll get an RV. I'll go live on the road. No, don't do that. I didn't.
Yeah.
But there were plans, and there was even like looking up what kind of RV I wanted, all that.
Yeah.
So the idea of seeing other places and traveling was kind of came out then, but thankfully never was went with. That would have been very bad.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten thrown out of my apartment, so that's good. I never was going to. I just I got myself to believe I would.
Sure, you convinced yourself of a false truth. Yeah. Yeah, that's no. I think it's very powerful to get in the world. I think it's very essential to unplug from certain aspects of comfort in the ways that we always deal with them. Which is something, I mean, even going back to like my girlfriend not being here and dealing with aspects of that was a conversation of like, hey, I know this is going to be the worst and it's going to be terrible. And she's the one telling me to do this, by the way. It's not me convincing her like, hey, I need to go do this.
We know.
She's like, yeah.
It's like there's someone who's going to say how things go.
Yeah. So,
You got to have an agreement. You have to have someone who wants to encourage
and
you.
you have to, no.
Guess what I'm doing, honey? Ha ha.
No. If it was the other way around, if any part of her was doubting this, I don't think that she would now be coming down here with me. We just would have broken up in the middle somewhere. But when people talk about long distance, I've almost hesitated to call this long distance because there was a finish date in mind the entire time from the onset. I was like, hey, I'm getting like a 7-month lease. This is super unconventional. Like, you need to either find a new job or we need to figure your work out by this date and do all of this stuff. Like, there's no choice in any of this. We're either all in or not. So this would have all evaporated 3 months ago if this was all like a terrible decision. Should have been like, hey, come get your shit. I'm tired of you.
Get out.
So
burn in Texas, damn you.
No. Dealing with that, leaving the Midwest, which is almost a cheat code because everyone here is so cool. Like, everyone I deal with is so down to talk, down to connect with each other and do this stuff. But no, for somebody who I think has been stuck in a prison of their own mind or of their own invention for a long time, I love the idea of you getting out there and forcing yourself into these scenarios. You're gonna have a wonderful time.
Sure, yes, I will.
You're gonna be miserable for huge portions of this, and the fact that you've accepted that is so much a sign of personal development and growth. It makes me really happy to hear that's what you're going for, man.
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick jump for the first session because I don't want to like go all the way. The plan, the like long term plan is a friend of mine does live the RV lifestyle. She's been living like that for a decade now, and she's in Oregon, so she's all the way on the other side. So we've been talking over the idea of me actually going out there, and that kind of boiled up the idea again of being like, well, why don't I just go see the world? I'm a single guy. I have no like serious commitments of any sort other than stuff I can do like this
remotely.
Yeah. So why not just go enjoy stuff, go be by yourself and realize you can be out there. And you'll be fine.
No, it's a false sense of fear that I think the reliance on technology has really engraved us into.
Oh yeah.
I think, and it's also just like, I don't know, man. Even when I was in like high school marketing classes, we were talking about market segmentation and the way that people divide themselves is the most they ever have. And on one hand, it's cool to see people who want to be individuals and be their own thing. On the other hand, there's a big problem when people become so comfortable with things being the exact way they need them to be and not being able to deal with change and stresses and all of these things. There's a lot of problems with that. And when we look at the issues with loneliness and lack of reproduction in Asia and Korea, in general, Korea, Japan in particular, it's like, man, this is this isn't a fake problem. This is a generational issue that they're not even addressing exactly adequately. And I don't know the right solution for it by any means.
This is a new problem we didn't know we were going to have. Awesome.
No, it was like 2021 or something. There was like one new entrant in public elementary school for a specific grade. Like they're dealing with these really unique issues, and loneliness is at an all-time high because people are afraid to just like sit down and talk to each other and like share a thing because they're afraid of where the conversation might go, how politics divides us, etc. It's like, no, man, I'm just here to advocate for humanity. And
I'm just here to have a good time.
I'm just here to have a good time, man, and good conversations. That's like literally it. And people keep trying to make it more deep than it needs to be. I try to be on subreddits for like YouTube development and like what
That's a
people
good
are
idea.
doing on YouTube and stuff. But I have a hard time because a lot of it turns into just drama YouTube where they're like, hey, this one person left a comment 5 years ago that politically does not align with where I am today. How can I keep watching them? What can I do about this? And I'm like, man, they just make internet videos for you. You don't need to agree with you don't need to deep dive all these people.
They just want to tell you what the top 5 cutest kittens in the world are. I mean, what are you doing?
Or like some great dry week video. The last one I loved so much of like some mocktails and like some of the strategies that go into it is like,
oh yeah,
man, when I watch cooking YouTubers in particular, I'm like, dude, these people could be horrible people behind the scenes. I don't have as much emotional weight in it because I really like the thing you're doing. If I agree with and align with you, I might financially support you as well. But that's like the third level you get to with a person. Sometimes you just got to watch people and enjoy them.
I recommend Brad Leone, I think his name is.
Oh, Brad Leone, Bon Appetit, former editor-in-chief, current host of
I forget what he's doing now.
Local Legends with Brad.
He's in my area too. That's the weird part. He like talks about places around here. I'm like, oh, he's like next door. What the hell?
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I think he's
Brad Leone,
close to Sugar Kitty.
He is one of the most fun, lackadaisical people who also he embodies a statement I heard, I think first from Renton Link, which is, don't take yourself seriously. It's a waste of time. Don't do it. Take your work really seriously, but you can take your work seriously while like being goofy and having fun and doing all this like nonsense and distraction. There's a difference between all of those things that I think is really important because you need to have fun with whatever you're doing.
Yeah, if you're not having fun, what are you doing? Stop it.
So, and I mean, going back to you, it sounds like you're realizing you either want something more or you aren't having as much fun as you used to with what you're doing.
I need to put myself in a position where I feel something good, because part of the problem I have is not really... It's hard for me to go to be around a place where a lot of people are and they're having a good time and I'm there and I'm just uncomfortable and I know I should be having a good time. So there's like something that's just kind of disconnecting from that. And
yeah, okay. So, well, I would start simply by challenging the idea of being in a place where you are supposed to have a good time, because I don't think that people share those with each other. In terms of my version of a good time and your version of a good time probably line up relatively close. Like, we would probably both prefer a quieter environment. If we're having conversation, it would be at most a small group. You and I are never going to be happy at Coachella.
No,
we're not.
No.
But at a 3-person afternoon lunch thing, we'd probably have a really nice time and not have a huge issue with it in the right setting. So I do challenge the idea of like, I know I'm supposed to be having fun with this. I know I'm supposed to be enjoying this.
It's more like a sensory. It's a sensory overload thing. Like, there's too much going on.
Yeah.
I'm not having fun with this. And the thing I'm trying to make clear is not that I should be feeling something because of the situation, but just the feeling part. Like, that's the part that gets all muddled.
Do you think that that is an issue of numbness, or do you think that that comes from a place of like a lack of interpretation of what you're feeling, so you feel like it's misinterpreted or misattributed?
This is the therapy hour, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, dude. I trap people in this shit all the
No,
time.
it's
I
good.
ask for, yeah.
It's
I
more.
really like to understand people.
Let's say the question again. I lost already.
It's do you think that this is more of an issue of feeling numb in these types of situations, or do you feel like it's not understanding exactly what you're feeling, so it comes off as misplaced or misattributed?
I try to put it down as we're going back to childhood stuff probably, but
Perfect.
because I had all these mental health problems till I was like 29 with no diagnosis, just blah, blah. My moods were really weird. I got really hyper. I acted out. I got myself in dangerous situations. That was out of control. Like that was me like feeling the way I did because that's the way I felt. And this whole thing of I feel really depressed or I feel real like hyper. Those were the swings. And when I think back at that time, I feel like there's a lot of control that I've had to kind of clamp on to the way I feel things because of the fear of this bipolar thing going one way or the other and like making people uncomfortable or acting out or saying something I don't mean. So it's a lot of just, I think I went like this for too long and now it's like, how do I feel again?
No, because it's self-imposed fear of where something might go. So you're trying to tame down and temper yourself down to the point that you also might not recognize yourself in the mirror at a certain point.
I'm a stomach, good God. I am a spaz, is what I like to think. I have a lot of self-restricting, a lot of self-deprivation, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm working through it. I'm just not, there's a paranoia thing to it too. There's like actual paranoia in the way I think. So there's always that little bit of danger, that not trusting anyone, that not getting too close to people, like keeping people at a distance. There's a lot of problems that go along with everything. So it's not that I don't go
Trust
ahead.
and paranoia are really interesting though, because at a certain point, I think there is a almost misconception of what trust needs to be for another person and what you're putting into another person. Whereas from my experience in dealing with people, they're so malleable and often lackadaisical in things that you put a lot of this thing into somebody and you put this weight to a certain point, and it doesn't necessarily reflect what they're getting from you or their interpretation of you, because they just don't view relationships the same way or people the same way. And that makes it really, really hard when you're trying to just kind of connect with somebody and put stuff into somebody and they get it for the afternoon or the evening, and then you don't get the same response in the future. Like it's a hard place to be, man. I get that.
It's great. Like I still have to get through the concepts of like when someone thinks they're a friend of mine or I'm a friend of theirs, because I don't know. Like I can't tell when I'm friends with someone.
No, but that doesn't exist either. Right? And that's another thing is I think that analytical minds have a really hard time with this. And all of these things I speak from with self-experience. I think I care less, or at least I've gotten better at putting less weight into things than other people that are similarly neurodivergent as us.
Yeah.
There's this
Candace.
There's this weird thing we do with people. What up, Candace Die? Oh, say your bit.
Oh, Candace. Thank you for bringing your time and attention here as always. It is greatly appreciated.
No, it's hard because
Candace is old school, by the way. Like we used to play like World of Warcraft together and go to raids and all that shit.
Oh, that's classic.
Oh yeah.
No, there's this idea of consistency with people, which I think is inherently flawed and wrong, because people are super inconsistent, and understanding and accepting that also gives yourself a little bit of grace, because it allows you to be as inconsistent as everybody else. You can't take advantage of it as much as you might want to sometimes, but it does allow you to understand. It's like, no, they don't hate me. They got busy. They're unaware of how much this meant to me because I didn't illustrate it very well. Like there's a lot of layers
of specific people now. That's fun.
There's a lot of layers with relationships, which I think are very interesting. And it's why I think that strangers are so important to us.
Stranger danger. That doesn't help either. Old school stuff.
Good conversation to take going into the upcoming week. Thank you. Absolutely, Christy. I love the weird deep dives into people. They make me very happy because we're all super different and everyone's trying to sell stuff now. So
I'm trying to sell so much stuff.
Everyone's trying to sell something, man. I'm trying to sell stuff all the time, which is why I have fun with this stuff because I don't need to sell anything. Like, I have.
You're trying to sell people on your cooking. That's what's happening here.
Oh, Joshua Wiseman's barbacoa, Jake Henry Lopez Alt's meatballs, and Adam Ragusia's chicken parmesan. I try to sell people on where it came from. I try to give people the original recipes because my version's so different at this point. You got to start on your own and figure it out. But no, it's I wish more people dealt with strangers. I wish more people had these weird conversations for long periods of time because the truth is nobody knows what the truth is. Like there's three versions of history. It depends on how many. We wish truth was black and white, but when you talk about people observing events and interpreting reactions and stuff, like we live in this crazy gray area, and we just have to accept that from each other while not being taken advantage of. Which is
there is also stranger danger, so to speak, like visiting other channels across the country. Four Leaf is in. Oh God, I forgot where she is. Is it you? No, it's not Utah. Utah is Whiskey Mountains. And Four Leaf is in a place that is what's next to Illinois? On the east.
Next to Ohio.
That's right. I think that's it.
Nebraska's real
That's Ohio.
close.
That's Ohio.
Okay.
So that's two. There are some people in Florida who I can meet if I wanted to. There's Texas, obviously. I haven't been to Iron Root yet. I want to go say hi to those guys again. At their own place would be good.
Iron Root's good people. Iron Root's good people.
Yeah,
Make friends with Iron Root.
And Kentucky, of course. Like, it's Bourbon night is there. I can talk to them again.
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, though, the idea of stranger danger, which I would also say I've definitely struggled with because I just throw my phone number out there now because we're collaborating with people and we're doing stuff, and some people need to, like, the way that you text people matters a lot more than email these days because you need quick information and reactions. So I just throw my phone number out there in a way I've never been able to in the past, with the understanding that I'm like, in 2 years, I'm definitely changing my phone number.
Oh, yeah. I got to keep mine. I'm not letting people know what it is. No way.
It's one of those things where I'm like, oh, man.
They also moved to a different state, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, and that's why I'm happy to change it, since I moved to a different state. And also, like, I've had the same phone number for a long time. I like my phone number. It's one of those dumb patterns you find that doesn't make sense to anybody else. But like, there's a poetry to my phone number when I read it off that I'm really comfortable with. That being said, I've taken a lot of things from patrons in terms of food or beverage now being served to me. I've hung out with people, let them know about where I live, and given my phone number out to people who I am generally kind of comfortable with them texting me at this point because no one's burnt me on any of this yet. And at a certain point, if you're in a curated community, that idea of stranger danger is very different because you are in a curated community. This is not where the serial killers are living and looking for you.
As far as
this is where people who are into this are into it. And the only people trying to take advantage of the whiskey community right now are OnlyFans models on Reddit and YouTube comments, which I can't even begin to tell you how crazy that problem's
that's pretty fun.
Chat bots. First 30 seconds, maybe less, maybe the first 5 seconds of videos posted is, your content is always innovative and incredible. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And the profile picture is a woman in lingerie. If you click the profile, the secondary profile picture is a fully naked woman in a really interesting position.
Like YouTube,
and all of the descriptions are links to where they can monetize being naked.
Oh yeah.
It's like, this is modern YouTube, man. And by the way, none of these people are real. They're all farmed content from websites like OnlyFans, then getting stolen and reused to try to crypto scam you.
Isn't the internet great? What the no stranger danger here, folks. Nothing's happened. Nothing sketch at all. No worries.
So, On one hand, I say, yes, stranger danger's totally overrated. It's wild. I don't like the idea how people treat each other like they all have malintent. I have great conversations with strangers every week. That being said, there are minefields out there.
Yeah, like I'm thinking, like, I would never do any of this. It's like, Brian, you sent out people stuff through hand deliveries, and they have your address on that box, and they will send you. Like, other people have sent me stuff too. I haven't asked for it, but they do send me stuff. Yes. I do. Like, I'm even paranoid about the Amazon wish list I have for all these travel things I could use. I'm like, Amazon knows it. They don't. They don't. They don't.
It's one of those things where I will say, as somebody who intends on having a public portfolio for a certain
Evil Williams.
evil Williams. That made me laugh too.
I know you are.
As somebody who will have a public presence, regardless of what I'm doing to some degree for a long time, I do think about it as far as if and when I ever own property or a house, it will be in the name of a shell company. It will be.
Oh, yeah, I know who to talk to. If I want to disappear, I talk to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Multiple names, dealing with fake identities and stuff. Yeah. There are layers of this that I do think are super serious about protecting yourself, but also at the same time, when one of these companies wanted to maybe do something in the version of like cybersecurity and profile protection and stuff, I really had to deep dive what they're actually doing and how much went into this, whether or not we wanted to take this unnamed company, because at the same time, I'm like, well, if you're submitting all your information to somebody for them to protect your information, that is also a vulnerability.
I feel like we had to talk something about this before, where there was something that was getting delivered or a company that didn't really exist and you found out somehow. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I think that was a Austin-based packaging company.
Yes, that's right, packaging.
Yeah. I think that was that one. Yeah. No, I in terms of the hiring or the working with people, I will find every piece of public information you have ever put online, and I will go through every piece of what you've posted publicly. And it's not in the way that I think people were warned in Facebook in middle school about Facebook and Instagram posts of
the older people who said everything on the internet's a scam.
You need to be careful because you don't know what people are going to look through. It's more of the things you decide to post publicly give me a very strong vibe of the type of person you will present yourself as. And it's not entirely to do with the fact that we're a social media company. I think I'd do this if we weren't a social media company, but it is doubly so. Is social media a huge part of your life? Because that can be positive or negative.
It can.
That can go either way. Do you gain a lot from doing this? Are you super outspoken in what you're doing? And again, that's not it's not okay to be this way or not okay to be that way. It's like, no, there's just a lot of way to handle these things, and there's ways that will come back to bite an employer at a certain point, depending on who you work with and what you do, probably. You do have to have an awareness of your online presence and persona in a way that I don't think is like corporate, conglomerate, and evil. It's just a common sense way. When there's a subreddit called YouTube Drama that wants to pull up anybody you've ever collaborated with, anybody you've ever worked with, anyone who's ever been on your channel, and like find the worst thing they've ever posted online. There's a level to that. You kind of
I just like to think about channels who have been on my channel who are now big channels now. That's my favorite part.
Well, that's the best though. No, and that's like literally the best is knowing somebody who's really good at what they do, and you really like the way they do it, and then being able to give them work. Like that, as a producer, is literally the best feeling on the planet, is knowing that these are your people. Like, you are the reason these people are here.
Part of the tribe.
Trying to give them work. And that's even beyond just the tribe, because I would use tribe as like the most outward version of like, it doesn't take a ton to be a part of the tribe. I don't want that to be a huge barrier. You don't need to be a part of the tribe, of course, but to really be somebody who we rely on and like support and everything goes well with everything is like, no, it it feels really good, and it's why I try to have some longer conversations with people, even if they're not going to be doing a ton of work for us, or if it's just this one thing. Is like, where's your ethos? Where do you fit into this stuff?
What is
like,
the core
do
of
you
your
wish you were
being?
doing? Yeah. Yeah.
Mine apparently
No,
is silly emotes.
I like people, man. I like people. It's
like
just
people
a thing.
to a point.
You'll learn to love and appreciate people even if you still hate them. Because
Yeah.
that's totally possible.
I can appreciate anyone for who they are, as long as like you're over there, you do you. You know, it's the situation.
Yeah.
You do you.
Yeah. The political folks like Dollimore and, oddly enough, movie and music reviewers get a lot of hate. I mean, it's an imposition, though. You're here for escapism for the most part.
Yeah, I am.
I know we're now having like relatively serious and genuine conversations because I don't get to talk to Brian all that often. I like to do this, and he's doing this crazy thing, so I want to know where that's
crazy
going.
thing, all right.
But that being said, most people are not able to separate religious and political differences from their interpretation of somebody else anymore, because I think that a lot of what social media has done has been driving people into corners and silos. It's really hard.
I like that analogy. Take it easy. Wait.
Do it again. This is what I was saying before.
Thank you for bringing your time and attention here. As always, it is greatly appreciated.
Oh, no, I hate that people can't separate the art from the artist, but then there are so many artists that can't separate their own art from their own intent and beliefs that I get it. Like, it's now very difficult to just like somebody and not think that seriously about them. And I mean, I grew up in eras of like pro Super Smash Bros players, and Minecraft YouTubers who all were predatory on their audience and took advantage of these oftentimes literal children and groomed an audience from a position of power. I'm like, okay, I get why we want to deep dive people now. I get why we want to care. It's horrible.
TikTok is its own beast.
TikTok's brain rot, man. And also, TikTok has some of the most compelling and interesting content being made at the same time.
It's so stupid. It's so annoying.
It's all sandwiched between the worst slop in humanity.
Plenty of ads.
But there is one thing that makes me hopeful about the shorts generation, and that is the fact that YouTube shorts are being used, I'm sure TikTok's the same way, to rip movies and television without copyright while monetizing their own videos. They are just posting clips of these things while trying to monetize them, doing all these little tricks and this dumb stuff.
Play music over it. That's the one I've been noticing.
That makes me hopeful, because the first generation of massive YouTube growth beyond the viral video was everybody watching Pirates of the Caribbean 2 Dead Man's Chest part 1 of 15. In 360p, the footage was mirrored, the octaves of the voice were tampered with, and that brings me back to the OG days of online sharing and trying to scam monetization. Of like, okay, these kids are the same as us. These kids are the same. They're growing up in a very different system. It's very broken. I do think that's the truth. But there's something there, and some of these people are going to be great. The brain rot scares the shit out of me. We talk all the time about brain rot. Yeah. I don't want to create slop. I don't like slop. I did that with Lex. What's Lex?
I'm trying to think. What did I do?
Is this a Lex Luthor-based TV show from the...
you know more than I do. I'm like, what? I don't know what Lex is.
Lex is a tale of a group of misfits who inadvertently steal the most powerful weapon of destruction. Tom Killian. Sci-fi. No, I think this is an original story. Okay. This sounded like a spin-off of Smallville to me for a second. But I know Michael Rosenbaum's body of work too well. I'm sorry. Okay, Candace, we offended you by not knowing Lex. All right.
I don't know anything. I don't watch television.
I'm going to feed my dog. You please give us a short description on what Lex is. And I'm so excited. I love old TV so much, man. Like, that is my generation. That is the stuff that I wish I could have like been in prime time for and like been working on in a lot of ways. But also I hear all those stories of drugs and depression and I'm like, man, thank God the market changed.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
I'm curious what Lex is. Yeah, my problem is I don't watch television. So television or any streaming services really. Like the thing I watched today was anime, and it was about a kid who there's a very specific type of bow shooting that's done in Japan. Like it's ritualistic almost. And I guess the kid got like the jitters. They call it something else. But he wasn't able to shoot. Like he was really good, and then all of a sudden he kind of lost it. And the whole story is about him trying to get it back and overcome the odds. But I don't remember what that actually, the whole like ping thing is. The bow makes a very specific sound. That's what I watch, apparently.
What do you watch?
I watched an anime today about a kid who does a ritualistic kind of bow shooting from Japan. I forget what it's called, but they got a whole outfit on, there's a whole ceremony. And basically he is trying to work back from having like the jitters from not being able to shoot anymore, and he's trying to go back and do it again. I don't know how I stumbled across it. I think it started when I was looking at I can't remember the name of the anime. Fascinating, sure, anime that I watched.
Worked.
Yeah.
It's the most bizarre, sexy, random sci-fi I've ever seen. Perfect. Candace, I will be sending this to my girlfriend, and by that I mean I will be pirating it and then showing it to her.
The internet's a vast place. You can find anything you want.
Yeah, if it's weird, sexy, random sci-fi, if it's the type of thing that you know objectively is not very good, but you're still in love with it for some reason, oh, that's so right up her alley.
Making me think of Neon Genesis Evangelion? I think that's what it was. I don't remember. Aeon Flux, there we go.
Dolph Lundgren. Okay.
It was a fun name. What am I talking about?
Dolph Lundgren, I want to say Rocky.
I'm so mad that I don't know the name of this anime off the cuff.
Yeah, Rocky 4. Yep. Tim Curry, that's huge for me. I friggin' love Tim Curry.
Ah, the legend. The one that got me started on looking at this other anime was called Violet Evergarden, I think. It's beautiful. Like the whole anime series itself is crazy. Violet Evergarden. Yeah. Interesting premise too, because it's based on an era where people would write letters for people, like using a typewriter, because the typewriter is new.
Sure.
And people didn't know how to write or read. It just looks beautiful. Like the animation is stunning. Anyone who watches that's gonna cry. If you don't, you have no soul.
Dude, I have such a hard time getting in the more like the real anime. I love westernized like pop anime. Like,
They have a new one coming out.
I love My Hero Academia. I liked Seven Deadly Sins. I grew up on Naruto and Inuyasha. Like I like the most generic pop anime. The only really weird thing I've ever watched, I feel like, was The Devil is a Part-Timer.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
That I really, really, really enjoyed for some reason, and I think that was the type of weird without any like strange sexualization that lined up exactly with my thoughts, where it was like, okay, so the devil gets thrown into modern day Tokyo, and what's he do is he becomes a part-time McDonald's employee.
Works at Burger
Like,
King, McDonald's, whatever.
That's it. That is the best premise I've ever heard. That is so good.
Did you watch Cowboy Bebop?
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
I figured.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know he's gonna watch this, but just
I would almost not. At this point, I understand how formative it is, but I would almost argue Cowboy Bebop is closer to high art than it is anime, because the music and fight choreography just go to the point that I'm like, it doesn't matter what genre this is. Like, this is just something different. There's no filler
Space Western.
here. It doesn't fit the stereotype of so much other anime. This is just it's one of the rare albums that you can listen to start to finish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
oh,
good.
it's so good. And that Japanese appreciation of jazz. My dad was a jazz musician.
Oh, nice.
There is an energy with Japanese appreciation of jazz and Japanese appreciation with high fidelity systems that is so lost and weird and rare. It's really, really cool what they did with
They like to
but
dig
again,
in.
it's all that almost transcends anime at this point. I could show people who will never watch anime Cowboy Bebop. They'd be like, what was that?
That was fun, right?
Yeah, it's like it doesn't matter. It was good, okay?
Oh, there it is. There it is. Lazarus, the Cowboy Bebop director. There's a new thing coming out. Lazarus.
Okay.
Yeah, same vibe as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
It's hard, man. It's hard when you do something that everybody loves and it's really, really good.
I'm just going to send you a bunch of anime suggestions now. You know that, right? There's been so many.
That's fine. I'm okay. See, here's the thing. I'm okay with that as long as anybody understands the odds of me diving into something.
Oh, no.
Are so slim.
I'll just send them.
Yeah. No, I'm okay. See, I'm okay with that because I'll be like, hey, this random dude from far away sent me this, and I'll show it to my girlfriend, and she'll be like, yes, no,
Yeah.
yes.
As long as you have a filter.
No. Yeah, no, I'll show it to her, and then she'll go through it. That being said, it's been almost 6 months-ish, and I feel like there are strong odds of her having like this huge backlog of stuff, because every time she watches something that she really enjoys, she's like, now I want to watch it with you. Like, you always say that, and most of these things I never want to see.
Hey, Christy.
Christy, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And have a great week. It sounds like you need one. Saying you want to think about deep conversations going into the week.
Right.
Yeah, love the people around you. Life is good. But no, I feel like she has a backlog waiting for me, and I have nothing to present to her.
Oh.
I'm like, all of the stuff I've been watching are like old TV shows and weird YouTube series.
There's been a good influx recently. Like the past few years, there's been some really good influx of anime. It's crazy.
That's good though. Like anime was actually, in general, animation is the absolute most expensive version of media you can create, and the better the animation you want, the worse it gets. We dipped into the world of 3D based 2D animation for a long time, and there are benefits and drawbacks to that. But it's really cool to see this like honing in on really efficient anime that delivers on the stuff we like without needing it to be 18 seasons, 22 episodes a piece.
Yeah, I mean, One Piece is good and all, but people became adults watching that.
Yeah. Well, and I think the One Piece live action was the best attempt I've seen.
That was really good.
To live action anime, to the point that I dove back into One Piece and I started watching it like while doing chores and cooking, because I didn't need to pay a ton of attention, but I was curious what was going on. And again, I'm like, man, if you cut out 60% of this, this might be one of the best stories ever told. If you
Strangely enough, YouTube has these shorts that keep showing me about all these fights that happened recently. It's great.
Yes.
I have enough knowledge of the backstory and the characters, so I was like, oh, they're fighting. Let's see what happens. So this is crazy.
Oh my god. If I was into Dragon Ball Z, man, I would need somebody to cut it down. They do a thing now where they'll take a like college football game and they'll take it from like 3.5 hours down to like 23 minutes on YouTube. They'll just cut out.
Here are the highlights.
Literally every moment where nothing is happening, they cut out, and then you end up with like a sub 40-minute piece of entertainment. And I'm like, oh, I could watch this. Like if you just edit football down to the point where it's all the stuff that's interesting, I could actually get into this. Yep. It's the 3 extra hours where I lose my mind.
Yep.
One Piece is so weird. Yeah. Also talking about like hypersexualization and the strange art. Like I've seen, Nami, I've seen the examples of her swimsuit to breast size as the series goes on.
So she's lopsided. She wouldn't be able to stand. What's happening?
But I also grew up on, again, Naruto, Inuyasha, and like
Thank you, Kathy
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Go ahead.
I was just saying thank you to Kathy Huey.
Thank you to me for coming on. I'm always available. I tease it to KillCo more than he invites me on. I'm like, dude, my Sundays are nothing.
I got nothing happening. It's just
Like,
funny. It's funny that we somehow ended up on dry week again.
Dry week to dry week made me happy and sad because I was like, it feels like it was more than quarterly. Like, what's going on here?
I saw the announcements for dry week and I was like, that's not.
Yeah.
What? I think I was confused that the Tribe and Vault were doing it at the same time, and I still feel like it just happened a little while ago. But also, I've been on a dry week since August, so
yeah, it's a very different situation. Yeah, I would love to keep Vault and Tribe on the same schedule for that. There's no real reason not to. It's definitely something that should just be happening to me. Dude, I just hit him up on Facebook. Who did you just hit up on Facebook?
Me? If it's Facebook, I won't see it.
I was gonna say, I certainly hope it's not me because I created a Facebook just to get in the Facebook group, and Facebook banned me like twice because they could tell I wasn't a real person. I was just using like sloppy emails and not putting a lot of effort into it. They were like, send us a photo of yourself, and I did that, and they're like, you're not a real person. Oh, Brian, you got to get on Facebook, man.
Hold on. I just don't like Facebook. I don't like most
Why for
platforms.
me is because I don't. Yeah, no, literally same. I just don't like the interface of Facebook. Like, I just don't love it. It's not great for me personally. I like Reddit the most of all of them. Discord in an ideal world would be perfect, but Discord's even a little too messy for people. Facebook just feels inundated to me personally. I can't put great words on it. Maybe it's because I was like, I don't even know how old I was when I first got on Facebook. Man, that was a long time ago.
2 hours ago, I was posting about this, taking the time to post about the stream. I popped on, dropped the links, left,
and then complained about copying and pasting.
Oh god, because I can't even.
I hate it. I hate it too, man. I hate the system. I like crafting boutique posts. I like writing the stuff out. I really do.
I just don't have the energy. Where am I? There we go.
No, I don't have the energy either. That's why I'm bad at it.
I had someone talking to me yesterday. What day is it? Yep, yesterday. About for some reason they thought I had some social media abilities, which I do not. And I said that. Like, no. I just copy paste stuff. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I've made it very clear to people in the past, like, there's a difference between making good stuff and being really popular. There's a lot of stuff that's very popular that is not very good. That's kind of just the way the world works.
That is how the world works.
And that's overall okay. Like, I don't hate that system. It is what it is. There's a lot of really good stuff that's unpopular, and that's fine. It doesn't matter that much. Again, I always go back to commercial success and monetization because that's what the job is. Like, at a certain point, it's like, if you really want to do this for a living and you want to have longevity in this, it's like you have to figure out how to make money with the thing.
Yep.
And I love and respect people who will say, they're like, don't worry about views, don't worry about this, do the thing exactly the way you want to do it. Like, that's totally fine, but do you have a staff?
Yeah, no.
if you don't have a staff, do whatever you want. But the moment you have other people whose income like rely on you being successful at the thing you're doing, you have to view it a little bit differently. And there's a way to be commercially successful without completely selling out and betraying your ideals and the things that got you where you are. It's just different, unfortunately.
I had thought about doing a video about good bourbons. I should have done that for the Derby, but that's all I'm thinking now. And I think I did. Yeah, content for cash. Like, again, my money comes from memberships on here and Patreon. And I do.
That's also a very different, like, the idea of monetization being wrong, dirty, or bad it really comes down to something the tech development side calls product market fit, which is the idea of you're coming out with something at the right time where people are looking for this and they're willing to pay for the thing. In content, it's very interesting because the flagship thing you always put out there will be the thing you're putting out for free, basically. And then monetizing that audience basically strictly has to be done in a way that aligns with their values and their views and feels like they're actually getting something out of it. There are so many examples of people.
Hundreds. I'm seeing 100 things popping up in chat.
What's tequila tomorrow? Okay, John, what are you saying to me? I need to know what tequila tomorrow is. No, there's just a lot of people who try to make money off of their audience for no reason, and trying to make sure that people have other than to make money, and then trying to actually get something out of it for the people is very difficult sometimes.
Yeah, I have a lot of whiskey to share. And I'm not drinking it, you know. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Just sitting behind me looking pretty.
Also, Dragon Ball Z Abridged Orkai.
I've heard Abridged is pretty funny.
I literally grew up on Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged from Little Karibo. I don't know if Dragon Ball Z is also done by Little Karibo or not, but that is, that is classic for me.
Cinco de Mayo, that's right.
Oh, Tequila tomorrow. Yes. And Alchemy's closed tomorrow because it's a Monday. Yeah, I know. I pitched some version of like tequila specials all week. Our tequila is also just like very good though, which is unfortunate.
I don't know if I've had it.
It is so surprisingly good. We should not have as good of tequila as we do.
Well, you went through the trouble of sourcing it pretty heavily, if I remember correctly.
Brandon was the person, operations manager, who was the one that's like, I'm a tequila person. This is some of the best tequila I've ever had. Nice. As not a tequila person, I'm like, this is one of the only tequilas I've ever been like, hey, this is good tequila. You should try this. And I have tried some of the more expensive ones, but tequila is also a weird market because of additives, etc.
Yeah, I've never really gotten into tequila. I have to start dabbling in all of it eventually, but not to the extent I used to, obviously. When I go back to alcohol, if I go back to alcohol, all that fun stuff.
Kenda's saying, too many move shit here, make cash, repeat. Yeah, I think crypto was like one of the worst spaces you could be in for a really, really long time because of that. And I'm not a huge advocate of crypto. I think it has its own weird utilities and places, but when people are like, yeah, we need like a full decentralized economy and like money separate from everything else, it's like, that's an idea, but when everyone's trying to create a new coin every week and trying to sell their audience on it, and no one makes money, nobody ever makes money. Also, the idea in general that a currency is supposed to be about making money as opposed to a currency being a variable transaction of goods and services.
Here are these coins and this paper. Give me this thing.
Yeah, or I mean, honestly, I love the barter system. I love the barter system so much. I love the like, hey, I'm good at this, you're good at that. Let's like find a way that this works for both of us. Doesn't work most of the time, but when the barter system works, it feels great. It feels honest and adequate.
I think that's kind of what happens with whiskey channels. They're like, would you like some of this? I will send you some of this. Oh, you want to send me some of that? Oh, okay.
100,000% yes. In terms of the samples going around, it's funny too, again, going back to like doing things for views or like viewers complaints about like weird niche things. It's funny to see when people complain about the same whiskey popping up on every channel because it either just released or somebody got it and now they're sending it to everyone else. They're like, oh, everybody's talking about this.
Oh, the Pappy's bottle. Everyone has them.
It's just what's happening right now. Like, that's just where it's going.
That's what happened. That's what happened with me and Elijah Craig's. Like their bale releases, they do like 4 a year, 3 a year.
ABC, I think 3 a year.
Yeah, 3. So like every year for like 2 years, I would get 3 and try to keep up. And I was like, nope. Eventually, I stopped. I have 10 now.
And then one of them gets named at like the top of a list from somebody who matters. Like,
I think it was C920. C920.
Is it C923 or something?
I don't know if it's 2.3 or 2.0.
One of them I know because Larceny Barrel Proof did the same thing right afterwards. Like one of them suddenly is worth 4 times the price, and it's like, guys, there are different people who will enjoy each of these differently.
I don't like tonic water.
You don't like what?
Tonic water. Sorry, Ken, is that a thing?
Oh,
I recently tried a non-alcoholic alternative thing from Liars.
Sure.
And took one sip and was like, I do not like tonic water. It's like repulsive to me. I couldn't finish it. It's bad.
Tonic water has a ridiculous amount of sugar in it, which is fascinating. I love gin, but I've also always said, like, a gin and tonic is one of my favorite cocktails, but I've also always said that gin is a sad person's drink and that it has to fit the mood of what's going on. So typically speaking, if I'm having gin, it's because I either have a meeting coming up or I'm like just working on something really long and slow that I don't enjoy.
Have you talked to Irene Tan about gin?
No.
Okay.
Never.
You should.
She big on it?
She is a fan. I think she has one release of her own already at her store.
Okay, so that's the other thing though, is I love my own version of gin, but I don't think it's very good.
Oh no, I'm not a huge fan either.
I could enjoy drinking a gin and tonic while also being like, I don't love this. It just fits the mood I'm in.
Yeah, it fit the atmosphere.
The only
location.
exceptional gin I've ever had in my life. My go-to is Hendrick's. If it's not Hendrick's, I won't drink the gin and tonic because it's higher ABV and it's also like usually heavy in the botanicals in a way I kind of like. The other one is the gin we got from Michael Swanson from Far North. Was phenomenal. That gin was so interesting. It was so botanically wonderful and citrusy. I really enjoyed that. Our gin's good. I don't dislike it. I've only had it in like actual cocktails though.
Still
like
don't know if I've had it.
I don't just go take a gin and tonic at work.
Shots of gin.
Oh, turn up, dude. Anyways, it's for Towel Day. You said drink. It's for Towel Day. Is Towel Day
gin and tonic on the 25th, apparently. It's Towel Day. And if Towel Day makes me think of Hitchhiker's Guide, but I don't know if that has any relevance at all.
And Irene has a gin that she aged in one of her Elijah Craig barrel picks. Barrel-aged everything is also something I'm like back and forth on. There are examples of it that are so absolutely great, but I also wonder if the thing started off as very good on its own. No, barrel-aged gin, I don't think I've had any of ours. I know I've had the barrel-aged Silly Goose vodka, but we did barrel-aged gin at some point.
Hang on. I gotta check now.
Death's Door gin also tasty.
This isn't gin, isn't it? It is.
Douglas Adams' birthday. Oh, okay. It is Hitchhikers then. Okay.
Oh, I shouldn't do that to myself. Is this it? You're welcome.
Woo, yeah. I know for a fact I have not had that because let me see that color again. That is so deep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. How long was that in a barrel, does it say?
I bet it doesn't. I can't see it because it's stupid fun. Grain neutral spirit. Oh, this is the vodka. Wait, what is this? This is the gin or vodka. We fixed it. Oh yes, this is the one with the god awful print I can't read. They put like brown and like light lime green on black. Makes me feel like an old man. Distilled from grain, aged 4 months. Is this the gin? Yeah, you're welcome, gin. Aged 4 months. Not even that long. I don't remember what it was actually aged in. Bourbon barrels, I'm assuming.
If it's from us, it's probably bourbon barrels.
What is? A little crowded barrel over right there.
Yeah. That's a nice one too.
It was. I really liked the design on the front. This was really like turning out to it. I like not gin guy, but I was like, man, that looks awesome. I want it.
Yeah.
I forget which art style that is, but I like that design or that style.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna call it Spanish, but that's reductive.
I should know. I did graphic design stuff, but I forget. My memory shit. Grand Marnier tastes like chocolate covered orange peels. Oh, please don't do that to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been thinking about that. Grand Marnier with a barrel-aged gin actually sounds outstanding. Orange citrus specifically is one of my absolute favorite notes in anything. So yeah, doing Grand Marnier barrel-aged gin sounds freaking fantastic.
I like it. Again, I don't even know. I think I shared this with most people. Like, I don't do gin very often. So this I've had for quite a while. This is not like a new release. This was years ago.
It is interesting. I do think gin has a place in the market that has not been hit as hard as it potentially could be. Like, I think gin could be much bigger and more popular than it already is.
And I have a gunpowder.
Barrel-aged potentially would be a part of that, like a Reposado or Añejo.
Oh my god, this chair, why?
God, I'm not a tequila person.
Me neither.
I think it's Añejo. Yeah, Añejo's usually the...
Anejos?
Añejo.
I'm trying to think of what tequila I would even know. I think of the squat little one with the round top.
Squat little one with a round top.
Yeah, it's like a funny looking glass, and it has like a cork, except it's round.
1800.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's 1800. It looks like a little metal weight thing. It's a rounded topper. The only tequila I own is branded collaboration with the HBO. I'm sorry, Max, the One to Watch show. Use promo code Sonny to save 8%. Max, the One to Watch, has a show called Silicon Valley, and there was a tequila in Silicon Valley called Tres Comas. 3 commas. To be a billionaire, you have 3 commas in your net worth. Tres Comas was a character named Russ Hanneman's signature tequila, and that was my, like, oh my god. Oh,
Patron.
John McKellen's probably right, by the way. It probably is Patron is what you're thinking of, because it's a wooden cork round topper.
Yeah.
I was thinking the round metal weight style of an 1800.
Nah, I thought it was a cork, but yeah, wood sounds right.
Nope, that's it. Have a good night, Candace.
Bye night.
Be well. But no, that Tres Comas from the Silicon Valley tie-in is the only tequila I keep on hand, because I find it's one of my favorite shows, coming from loving technology and hating Silicon Valley and the way that tech companies spewed out into the conglomerates they became. Silicon Valley is some of my favorite satire on modern weird markets. But oh, all right, last round of questions. What else you got for me, KillCo? What have you been up to?
Well, the camping and the car thing was a success, which is nice. Just like going somewhere where it's just a place. Like just a place somewhere out of the way, no one was around. Parked here. Hopefully no one sees me.
The U.S. is good for that, man. We have BLM, Bureau of Land Management, that allows you to do what's called dispersed camping in so many places. There it is. You can do dispersed camping in so many places.
I already got my card, or my thing I put on the
placard.
Yeah. I got it for well, I got it for $10, but it's a lifetime one, because like mental health stuff. Like, if you have a disability, I'm like, yes, lifelong.
I got some people in my life that are going to attempt to take advantage of that.
Oh yeah, they asked for documentation. They asked for documentation, and I gave it to them.
No, that's a wonderful thing. Actually, if anything, that is one thing I've heard, especially with in dealing with depression.
Trying to encourage you to go outside.
A gym membership.
I've heard that.
Using a gym membership and actually like dealing with it physically and going through the motions has been considered so powerful for people with depression.
I have the place I've been going to exercise for years just shut down its doors yesterday, but I had 307 classes under my belt.
Okay.
So it's been real. I'm in probably the best shape of my life, and there are plans in the future for something else that should take that place, but I don't know anything for sure yet. So I'm just kind of leaving that alone. And that was also part of the reason I could do the traveling, because I don't have the commitment to go to the gym twice a week every week.
Sure. Well, hey, depending on the scale and level you land on, also, no, motorcycle accidents, fine.
Well,
it's normal outside.
all right.
Having somewhere like a 24-hour fitness or Gold's Gym that has a presence in basically every city in the United States,
That has been like
does
everything.
give you a great place to shower.
Every single thing I've seen for like looking up living out of your car and travel and RV stuff and supplies, they're always like, and if you have a gym membership at Planet Fitness.
Yes.
I'm like, all right.
Okay, yeah.
I'll have to do more of that. I don't like gyms at all. Like I can't. The reason I was doing the stuff I was doing was it was actually just a small group circuit training stuff. So there were like maybe 8 to 10 people there with me, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, especially if you're traveling, using it as a place to just take a hot shower and do that portion of things.
There are places you can go. That's the weirdest part I've been thinking about. It's like there are truck places where people who drive all the time, they have places where you can stop for a shower.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I'm just like, well,
yes. No, especially Midwest for truck drivers.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty common to find a place that allows showers.
There'll be tests. Like part of this whole little trip is to find some things like that. I might be staying at a campsite for one night just to try that out. Like if I needed to stay somewhere specific, I just go to it's a Paul Bunyan's campsite, so I thought that would work. And there's a Paul Bunyan statue I hope to see and be like, I made it.
Yep, that is a wonderful, really lovely, dumb thing you can go to.
And it fit.
It's Bunions.
It fit with there's a song. It's Bangor, Maine, and King of the Road. Trailer for sale or rent. Rooms let 50 cents. And in part of the song, it says, Destination Bangor, Maine.
Yep,
I was like,
King
I'm going to go there then.
By Roger Miller, 1965.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. The version
Third
in my head.
Boxcar Midnight Train, Destination Bangor, Maine.
Yep. So when I saw that was not far from Portland, I went, all right, let's go. Paul Bunyan statue. Let's do it.
That's perfect. No, I love that. I like when people make fun of like the world's largest rubber band ball. It's like, I want to see the world's largest rubber band. I don't need to go back here every year. This doesn't need to become a regular thing.
There's the world's largest ball of paint too. Like they just paint. There was a ball, they started painting it, and now people have painted it to the point where it's massive.
Wait, is that near you?
No, I think it's in the Midwest somewhere. Feels like a Midwest thing.
Indiana.
Yeah. That's where the Vlog Brothers are out of, or one of them. That's where their whole stuff is.
I feel like I could make a larger ball of paint than this.
You could. Do it.
I wouldn't take that away from the good people of Madison County, Indiana. Look,
I will point
Brian,
out...
I'm a terrible human being, but I'm not going to take
No, you're not going to take that away from them. They have so little. One of the things...
Well, it's pretty big.
Yeah, one of the things I like to think about is part of what kind of leaned me into the YouTube world, other than the Whiskey Tribe, was the early days of Blog Brothers, where they have done so much over that period of time and done so much good.
John.
Yeah, like they're like a staple of like, this is what it could do. This is what you could do. This is what people could do. And I like to kind of follow along with that idea.
Yeah.
To the best of my ability. Like right now it's like, help me out. But in the future, I'd like to be able to be at a place where I am at financial stability of some sort and I can help raise funds to charities and stuff.
Sure.
The one I want to work with first is the Pancreatic Cancer Society, which won't be until November. Because like, I try to raise funds for my parents in November because of the costs they have to go through just to do the cancer treatments, driving there, gas, staying there. My mom's been staying up there for weeks at a time right now because my dad's stuck up there at a rehabilitation facility because he got sick, can't even stand up.
Yeah.
Or he's able to stand up a little better now, but not for long.
Yeah.
Nebraska.
No, that's... I mean, it never stops, unfortunately.
Ooh.
It's like you could, when people try to like even list out, it's like, where are the expenses? It's like, oh, it's everywhere. It's every piece of this is so expensive and horrible to go through. No, terrible to hear that, man. Wish him the best.
Yep. He's doing what he can. I mean, my mom went up there again tonight. I'll probably see them later this week because I'm heading that way. I might as well stop in and say hi. Dad, I'm going to see Paul Bunyan, you know.
Which obviously is much more important in its own way.
Oh yeah. He wants to
when
know.
Brian goes west, anything in you say on Nebraska, I'm going to take it as in Nebraska because there's nothing in either.
Yeah.
The thing about Nebraska is the people. The thing I love about Nebraska are the people. I like, and actually the main thing is I-80 just takes you through Nebraska whether you want to go or not. Like nobody who lands through Nebraska, and I say this from my time working at a hotel bar in downtown Lincoln, the second largest city, downtown capital of the city. Really nice hotel bar for people to land for either dinner or as their hotel. And the conversations I had with people were always the same thing, which was, man, this is nicer than I expected. A lot of streets, electricity, internet. Like, this is crazy, man.
Got heated water? Wow.
No, I would say if you were looking for a place to stretch a budget and have a steak dinner, I would always advocate for Nebraska, very specifically because the best beef on the planet comes from Nebraska. A lot of the best beef on the planet, aside from Japan, is from Nebraska. A lot of the best U.S. food and grain comes from Nebraska. Even the places that are ordering everything through Cisco, this giant food distributor, a lot of it's local because it's just the closest place you can get stuff. You can have a wonderful meal in Nebraska for under $50 that in a major city would cost you $300. There are some really cool places in Nebraska to eat food.
I'll try to put that on the
aside from
list.
that, stuff to see is kind of hard, man.
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on.
I'll put that on the list of like things I could do when I go out there or go out anywhere. Part of the idea, like the vaguest insanity of it, is to visit all 50 states. But you know, Hawaii is going to be a stretch. Can't really drive there.
Well, that's also a very interesting thing to say because my brother and I went through it recently because we both grew up traveling a lot, and then through work, both of us have traveled a decent bit. And when we counted it out, it was like he was at like 43 and I'm at like 36 or something states.
I've actually been through a lot already, but in a way that doesn't count because my parents did cross country thing when we were kids. We didn't hit the West Coast, but we went down and we went through Texas. I found out what fire ants were. I avoided them.
Yeah, well, and that's also totally fair. Is that there is a big difference between
Texas is very large for driving.
I would say like 15 or 16 onward, you view travel very different as you do like a smaller child. So no, there is definitely a big difference in that. But it is funny when you think about all of the places you've ever been. Like growing up in the U.S., you tend to hit more places than you think of. Like you tend to just go through places very transactionally.
People go through Rhode Island all the time. They just go right through it and they don't even know it.
They don't even realize it.
It's like, what was that? Oh.
I think I've flown over Rhode Island. I don't think I've ever been in.
Oh, come down sometime. I mean, Irene's store is in Connecticut, not far. So
I just want to try some beach lobster, man.
If I'm going to Maine, the idea to get a lobster is there. I don't really have any like fond memories of lobster, but I want to go to the place.
Oh, me neither. I think lobster
it's
food for butter.
It is technically peasant food, but we just decided it isn't anymore. That's fine.
No, it's rubbery. It's a rubbery spoon for butter, which is like fine in what it is. But no, the obsession and fascination with lobster is very interesting with me because I've had a lot of lobster, a lot of good lobster, and I'm like, it's fine. There's not a lot going into this. I'm sorry.
Nebraska steak instead.
Yes. No, I got sick of steak growing up. My dad always had ins with butchers and like good inroads. So like I ate a lot of steak growing up. It did get to the point where I was like 20 or 21 and I was like, hey, you can start making me steak again. I miss steak. Like it's been a long time since I've had a lot of steak.
It's a rarity for me.
Cheers! I'm glad to consider y'all friends.
Of course, Simon Chambers.
That is so sweet.
She is a legend of moderating and promoting.
Dude, moderators are the unsung heroes. Some of my favorite people of all time. Like the people who care enough to put their time into the community in a way that will almost certainly subtract from it a little bit. Like, you got to deal with the bad and the good.
It's like I love being online. Oh, these people. These comments.
Yeah, it just adds a layer of attachment to it. It's not always the best, but all right. I'm gonna make my meatballs.
Yep. Let's wrap this up.
Yep.
We've gotten 2 hours in. We're good. You got to make your food.
For me.
I know, right? My bladder's starting to be like, hey, you haven't stood up in 2 hours. Oh, fuck off.
I'm in standing desk mode. The painting's higher than it normally is. I wanted to stand for this because sometimes when I sit, I feel like I lean too much or get lazy. I'm like,
I just try to lean back. Just
yeah,
this
we're
is all I
standing
got.
for this one. This is nice.
It's nice.
This is good.
Cozy.
Oh.
All right, sir. Thank you once again for joining me on the channel. I hope to see you in person sometime later this year if all goes as planned.
October.
And of course,
4th,
I'll invite you
Masters Ball.
again. Definitely earlier than that. Hopefully before Dry Week again.
Hey, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, come through Austin. I cannot guarantee it, but I might even have a guest room sometime relatively soon.
Nice.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah. And good luck with the move.
Yeah, it'll be terrible. I'm gonna hate
I'm
every
sure.
moment of it.
You'll feel so much better once it's done.
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't have to do it again for a while. All right.
All right.
Have a lovely evening to everyone. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you. We'll wrap up. Have a good night.
You too.
Ah! I always forget to turn that off. Thank you, everyone who is here, for joining me in this lovely discussion. You got to deep dive on what's happening in Alchemy and the tribe. You got to deep dive a little with me and my travel plans and my mental stuff. Again, Mental Health Awareness Month. I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you, as always, for supporting the channel the way you do. And as always, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome. And I will see you out there. Special thanks to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.